Hi, this is Dana Peterson. I want to thank you for taking the time to review this learning module. My topic of conversation as part of this module is motivating employees as a leader. Upon completion of this learning module, you'll have a better understanding of the required motivational levers that leaders need to be made aware of. In addition, you'll be able to describe the various motivational elements and how they are leveraged to achieve success. Lastly, you'll be able to identify the various motivational strategies for specific situations that leaders should leverage. Leaders need to be aware of the fundamentals of motivation. You need to understand how employees can be motivated. The first bullet here is that employees need to be learning something new to stay motivated. As part of that learning something new, it needs to contribute to the interest of the job. In addition, personal development needs to occur through training, something that leaders should consistently be looking at to allow the employees to learn. Lastly, leaders need to show an interest in the employee's personal and professional growth as part of learning or advancing. The next area, employees need to be shown support for the effort exerted. They need to be supported when required to complete job tasks. Leaders need to ensure that they provide them the correct tools and guidance whenever required. And then in addition, co-workers or peers always need to be willing to chip in whenever required. Employees need to enjoy their work. They need to feel like they have control over what they're doing. In addition, they need to be developing as you perform your job task. If they're not developing, the work that they're doing becomes mundane, they certainly lose motivation. And lastly, they need to have that sense of pride in what they're doing. They need to feel like they're contributing to the organization. Continuing on around fundamentals of motivation that leaders need to be aware of. Employees need to feel like they're contributing to the overall success for the company. In this area, ideas are listened to and accepted. They need to be heard. Employees need to be provided the empowerment and trust with the understanding that they will get things done. They need to be involved in contributing towards goals or objectives of the company. And then in addition, not only do they need to be involved in the goals or objectives of the company, they also need to be contributing towards driving improvement within the company. The next area, perform something meaningful. This actually is different than above. Employees need to be contributing towards something that has meaning to others. Working for an organization that does something meaningful really will drive motivation in employees. If they feel like they're helping people or contributing to the success of those around them, then people will become or will stay motivated. So now that we have an understanding of the fundamentals of motivation, let's take a look at the key elements of employee motivation. Leaders need to provide motivation as well as guidance to get things accomplished. And this certainly starts with the attitude of the management. Good attitudes are followed. And they, if a manager has a bad attitude, then those around them will generally have bad attitudes. If they have a good attitude, they stay positive, then this certainly translates into into the employees' attitudes that are around them. In addition, they also need to address required change as part of that attitude. If change is required, then leaders need to work towards implementing the required change. Next, leaders need to establish ethical work environment, just as important as the one above, the attitude of management. They do this by establishing trust. In addition, they need to remove the guesswork around what's next. Communicate what the goals or objectives are of the organization, is a key aspect of removing that guesswork. In addition, leaders need to ensure that they leverage proper checks and balances. Certainly, a key aspect to this is that they need to exercise fair practices across the board. What this means is they really shouldn't be showing any favorites. Next, as part of this, they need to leverage required HR techniques as part of that proper checks and balances. Another key element of employee motivation for leaders to exercise is empowering those around them. They need to provide the required support. Certainly holding employees accountable is a key aspect, but they also need to be able to let go. Don't micromanage. Next, leaders need to leverage the strengths of their employees. They need to position employees so they're successful. Put them in position that they will be successful. Placing them on teams where they have depth knowledge that will definitely be an asset to that team is a key example where leaders can leverage the strengths of employees. Okay, so when leaders are looking to leverage specific motivational strategies for certain situations, there really are several different strategies that can be leveraged depending on the situation, as well as depending on the individual. The first motivational strategy here is providing feedback. The feedback can come in the form of either positive or negative feedback. When you're providing positive feedback to employees, what this really does is it enhances the commitment of the employee, makes them want to go further, and keeps them committed to what they're looking to accomplish. This really works best when the employee may be questioning his or her commitment to the task at hand. As I said, the next type of feedback is negative feedback. This works best when the employee is already committed. If they need to be provided additional incentive to accomplish the task, then this is where negative feedback really works the best. The next motivational strategy that can be leveraged is around goal setting. This comes in the form where the leader would set deadlines, but certainly the leader needs to ensure that the goal is achievable. If you're setting unrealistic goals, then that could be a negative factor and actually demotivate that person. The one key thing here around goal setting is that leaders need to monitor the progress of the goals. If required, if you're looking at a large goal, it may be feasible to set shorter term goals that provides incentive or initiative for the employees. If there's something that just is, monumental, or you're looking to boil the ocean, this is probably a tactic that should be leveraged. And then the next motivational strategy is really around incentives. From an incentive perspective, there are really three types. There's the immediate incentive. This type of incentive is generally more appealing to the worker. Really, what this is around monumental type of incentives. People will tend to work harder when they know that there's money involved, for example. The next incentive is around certain versus uncertain. People tend to want to go after certain goals rather than uncertain goals. Certain can come in the form of, if you accomplish this, then you will be rewarded with this. Whereas an uncertainty meaning maybe you dangle a thread and say that if you accomplish this, you may get X as an incentive, but if you accomplish this, you'll get Y as an incentive. That's really what the certain versus uncertainty means. And then lastly is the extrinsic versus intrinsic. Extrinsic is money, perks, or other value incentives. Intrinsic is really the inner satisfaction that comes, with happiness or personal satisfaction. Okay, so just taking a look at some further discussion questions around leadership. First discussion question: what are some of the things that managers can do to combat employees who are losing motivation? Next, identify 3 qualities that make up a strong leader and outline what benefits these qualities provide for that specific leader. Lastly, identify 5 ethical characteristic traits that are expected from leaders. Okay, taking a look at the last slide as part of this module, I've provided some additional supplemental material that could be referenced if you are looking to gain further knowledge around leadership skills, techniques, etc. I just want to say thank you for taking the time to review this module. I hope you enjoyed it.